Welcome everyone, Gamer King Tar Heel back with another video game review. Today I'm going to look at the new MLB 13 The Show released for the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita. Being a baseball nut, MLB The Show is easily my favorite of the annual franchises released every year. It's had a strong run of dominance this generation and is the actual reason I bought a PlayStation 3 all those many years ago. Through all the praise, MLB The Show 13 is also the last of the console generation. And with MLB 2K series in shambles and in an uncertain future, you get the feeling that the developers are holding back and waiting for the PS4 to come around to make any big changes to the series. The Show 13 feels much more like a refinement pack than a full-on new game. It has a bunch of minor upgrades and changes to resemble the on-field action more than ever before, but nothing that's going to bring new fans of simulation baseball to the series. Most of the changes are actually on the field, but there are a couple new modes I want to look at. First is the Show Live, which allows you to get roster feeds and updates from MLB.com and play games as they happen during the regular season. I'll have to see how this plays out once the actual season begins, but it could be actually really interesting to replay a classic pitching duel you just watched on TV on your PS3 or on your Vita. Another new mode is the postseason. This lets you skip right over baseball's notoriously long season and go right to the postseason. This may be the only way the Astros make the postseason in any way, shape, or form, but it's also a solid option and works relatively well if already familiar in other brands. It's also another way that a more casual baseball fan can enjoy the game without committing themselves to the season-long grind that a baseball season commands. Another off-the-field change is to my cherished franchise mode in the terms of the scouting system. Here, users can send out Scout to find new talent and then scout individual players for the upcoming amateur draft. It seems really simple at first, but as months dragged on in my franchise, I found myself getting attached to players that I found and that I scouted. For players who love the franchise mode, this is a welcome addition, though some players may miss the superficial marketing mechanics that have been cut to make room for the new scouting system. For all of that, the main improvement of MLB 13 The Show comes on the field. Here the games add dynamic fielding cameras that really add to the sense of fielding the position. Playing in the outfield especially is nice when you get that little rush when the ball comes off the bat, as you're not immediately sure how to play it and if you're able to get to it right at the beginning. Another change comes in the form of meters in the fielding mechanic. Here you have to time your throwing mechanic from red, yellow, or green. Again, it's a simple change, but it adds that feeling of excitement on a bang-bang play when you nail that runner at first. Instead of just hitting the first base button, you actually feel like you caused that runner to be out instead of just the randomness of the game. While the pitching and hitting mechanics remain relatively unchanged from previous versions, the pitching feels much more realistic and balanced. Last year I felt if I threw a pitch out of the zone, the AI wouldn't swing. If I hit a corner, I was good, and if I threw it over the plate, I would get crushed, regardless of who was pitching or who was batting. This year I feel I can strike a batter out in the zone with a good pitch, or I can throw a changeup in the dirt and have him swing and miss as well. Batting has become much more forgiving this year, and it gives you the ability to aim to which part of the field you want to use. So those of you who have been playing the series for years, you're going to have to readjust your sliders to compensate for the new easier hitting mechanic. Overall, these small refinements symbolize MLB 13 The Show. No one game-changing item, but smaller refinements that make the slogan so real it's unreal closer to fruition. The commentary in the game has also improved a bit too, but it's simply adding on to previous generations. So longtime vets of the series for the past few years have been hearing the same one-liners forever, and they've grown beyond stale. I can't complain too much about the commentary because once it's gone you really do miss it. Which brings me to the one change I really did not care for, and that's in the Road to the Show. In Road to the Show, they tried to give you the feeling that you're on the field, and you hear the sounds of the ballpark, the crowd, the first base coach talking to you, telling you to wait for your pitch, etc., etc. And they take away the play-by-play commentary for the most part. All of that sounds really cool on paper, the whole immersion bit, but to me it just didn't translate to a really enjoyable experience. Everything just felt so quiet. Even in the majors, I ended up really missing the commentary. I miss how they would tell me I went 3 for 4 the night before or wore the collar. It really brought continuity from game to game, which is vital when you're playing so many games in such a short period of time. This is especially true on the pitching side, where you're on the field for such a much longer period of time. It just feels dead out there, and it's so weird that they spent this whole generation trying to build an excellent broadcast feel to the game, only to scrap it in their most popular mode. On the handheld side, the Vita has actually seen the most improvement from year to year. Not only does it come with most of the game's refinements, but it's also improved itself from a technical standpoint, helping to get rid of the slowdown and providing generally smoother experience, all while improving the graphical quality. While it's still nowhere near the console level of production values and presentation, which at times can be quite breathtaking, the Vita version does a great job of bringing simulation baseball on the go anywhere you want. As a standalone product, MLB The Show 13 for the Vita is still the best portable sports game around. It's fully functional on every level, but it's still missing some of the finer points of the console, particularly in the presentation department. Where the Vita truly shines is as a companion piece to your PS3 version. The ability to always have your season or Road to the Show in the palm of your hands is a great stopgap for the PS3 and keeps your season moving along. Overall, MLB 13 The Show is a step forward, but it's a quiet step forward. Huge fans of the series who play it year-round will find enough here to justify a full purchase. Those of you who normally pick it up and you're done playing by June, you might want to consider waiting for a price drop, or skipping this version altogether to see what the PS4 has to offer next year. It's still the best baseball game around, and die-hard fans are going to love it. But you get the feeling that the developers are holding back a little bit for bigger things next year. At least that's what we're hoping for anyway.